first off, tell me, who is Bernie? And why is there a foundation in his name? And I'm not here, so a little bit of my question has to go in your statement.
Right, okay. Bernie Banton is really synonymous with asbestos in Australia. He was the public face of a battle that commenced in 2001 that went right through into 2007 against the James Hardie Corporation. He was instrumental in setting up a compensation fund that came to the tune of nearly $4.5 billion, along with unions and the New South Wales state government. He fought the battle. He had asbestosis. He also ended up having mesothelioma. Bernie died on November the 27th in 2007, 2 days after the finalisation of Bernie and Karen's compensation case. And he left that legacy for Karen to follow on. Karen started the Bernie Banton Foundation in 2009. I'm with the Bernie Banton Foundation because I lost my wife Julie in 2011. I've been active in various organisations, and now I'm with the Bernie Banton Foundation. So that's why I'm here. I'm also now married to Karen Banton. So I think that wraps it up. We're here because Linda invited Karen to be the keynote speaker. We came with what I believe was a very strong team of 5, including Lou Williams, who's a long-term sufferer or survivor. Lou was also a speaker at the conference. Jeff Farey, one of our directors, was another speaker at the conference, and also John Carter, one of our directors, who is a expert awareness teacher. He likes to be called an educator in Australia.
So what would you like, I asked this of Lou, what would you, if you could speak directly to your rather progressive Prime Minister, what would you have her do?
What would I have Julia Gillard do, Prime Minister Gillard do? I would ask her to get her hands off from behind her backside and actually get things moving on eradicating asbestos out of Australia. We now have a very good strategic plan that can be operated on, that the Asbestos Management Review did, which was headed by Jeff Farey. It now just needs to be enacted on. We need to have a lot more awareness. We need to have a lot more facilities for the removal and disposing of asbestos. It's a big, big problem, and only the federal government can actually enact it. We need the federal government to, and it doesn't matter who is the Prime Minister, we need the federal government to take control of the situation and enact the Asbestos Management Review.
What impact has Matt Peacock had on your movement in Australia?
I think Matt along with Bernie,
Matt Peacock, if you don't mind.
Matt Peacock,
Okay.
he was instrumental in it, I think. He pushed the whole anti-asbestos movement along. He realised the dangers of it. He, along with Bernie Banton, fought the fight against James Hardie. Without Matt Peacock, I don't know if we would have got the results we had. I don't think we would be as advanced as we are in Australia. I doubt whether asbestos would have got banned. I doubt whether we would have had the recognition from the unions without Matt's unbelievable dedication to the anti-asbestos fraternity. He is just, you know, something that he is, I believe, a living treasure.
And you alluded to, or Lou, somebody alluded to the fact that they're going to be doing a feature movie on the case?
Yes. Last year, as you know, we had Devil's Dust, which was a 2-part television series. There's already, It's already been written for a feature movie that's going to be, it's being put together by another one of our directors called Pierce Grove. He's with Grove Films and, or Grove Productions it might be. But yes, they'll be doing a feature movie that will be about the life of Bernie Banton. We hope it will come out in somewhere around 2014.
And what impact do these television movie projects have on your movement there?
Well, I think this year, when Devil's Dust came out in November, November in Australia is Asbestos Awareness Month. Our Asbestos Awareness Week is actually the last week in November. We know at the Bernie Banton Foundation, and I think every other support organisation in Australia would have spiked dramatically. We had, I would think, a 500% increase in phone calls and communications coming in from people and they really did, it really did create an awareness. If we could have a new one coming out every month, it would be great, because people got the message, because it was so dramatic. They got the message that asbestos does kill people, and it could be them, because not one of us is immune. I could be sitting here and I'm most likely a ticking time bomb waiting to go off, and that could apply to every single person on this planet. The unfortunate thing is, this will go on for not decades, but centuries, unless governments around the world actually can get a handle on things and ban asbestos everywhere.
Is asbestos banned in Australia?
Asbestos is banned totally in Australia. It was Tony Abbott, actually, when he was a minister in the Liberal government in 2003, he enacted to ban the use, the importation and exportation of asbestos fully, and that took effect on December the 31st, 2003. So the situation now is that you are not allowed to repair asbestos, particularly like in the building industry. You are no longer allowed to repair an asbestos roof, for example. It must be replaced. Things like car brakes and so forth, they don't have to be removed, but if they are removed, then they cannot be replaced with any asbestos. Recently we had a setback when we found that virtually all the Chinese cars being imported into Australia had asbestos components, and we're now fighting to have those very cars on a recall. At the moment they're a replace as necessary type items, but generally I think it's working very well in Australia with the ban. It certainly makes one heck of a difference to know that it's totally illegal. There are alternatives, and quite frankly I have no idea why America still uses asbestos, because you just don't need to use it.
Okay. How did you connect with ADAO, and what has been Linda's impact on your movement in Australia?
I initially, when I was the president and coordinator of the Asbestos Disease Society of Victoria, back in I think 2010, early 2010, I got introduced to Facebook because my late wife Julie had mesothelioma, and other people in our support group had started using Facebook. So I got on the bandwagon and of course came across all the meso warriors around the world and Linda. And I saw in Linda somebody who was very close to my own heart. We were both activists in our own country. Linda was dynamic, and I could see she just had that push and the drive with ADAO. I call it ADAO, but yeah, Linda's had a huge impact, I think. Not so much in Australia. She's had an impact with the sufferers in helping unite sufferers around the world on the social media. But Linda in the last 2 to 3 years has just absolutely exploded when it comes to her finesse and her abilities in social media, and I think she recognised that it's the way of the future, and it really is. And people know Linda and the work she does and the work ADAO do right around the world. And what we hope to do is take that drive and take Linda's drive into Australia as well, because between Linda, who has the same passions as Karen Banton and I do as far as organisations go. I mean, both our organisations were born out of grief. They were both born because of having lost someone to the horror that's asbestos. So, yeah, what impact has Linda Reinstein had? It's been enormous, I think. Linda's impact around the world is enormous. She has respect with governments, and yeah, I'd say Linda rocks. She's the queen of the anti-asbestos movement. There is no doubt in my mind about that. And I think, you know, I describe ADAO as being, you know, the foremost organisation in the world when it comes to advocacy and making people aware around the world. I think we can learn a lot from what you guys do over here, you know.